to Fantasy Tip. We got a live stream for you guys today because it is a big, big day for fantasy hockey tomorrow. Literally 30 out of 32 teams are playing. And in all likelihood, you're in your fantasy semifinals or quarterfinals this week. So definitely important that you start and sit the right guys for tomorrow to ensure your victory this week. Super, super important. So we're here for you guys. If you have any kind of questions, just shoot them up and we'll be sure to try to answer them to the best of our abilities. Now, before we start answering all of your guys' questions, let's talk a little bit about matchups tomorrow. Who's playing tomorrow, and what are the best matchups? Right off the bat, I see that Carolina is playing Montreal, and obviously any team playing Montreal, it's a great matchup. So Kochetkov tomorrow, I would fire him up. Even though Montreal's playing a bit better lately, still, I like Kochetkov tomorrow. I'm not sure about you, Mac. What do you think?
The first team I'm looking at is San Jose.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And they're playing away from home in St. Louis, so fire up those Blues player, of course.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest spot for me.
Oh, for sure. It never hurts to play San Jose. And Philly plays Chicago tomorrow, if I would always suggest players playing Chicago, especially if it's not Peter Mrazek starting. And Peter Mrazek has started a couple in a row. So if Soderblom starts tomorrow, we could have a feast for your Philly players tomorrow.
I hope Mrazek starts, just for the record.
I wouldn't mind. In our league, I got Konechny, so I definitely wouldn't complain if it was Mrazek not in nets tomorrow.
How are your semifinals, or how are your other leagues going? Still going?
They are tight, man. I'm in it in all three leagues. I'm behind by like this much in our league. I'm behind by this much in another league, and I'm behind by like this much in another league. So I have a chance to win all of them. I've gotten really unlucky. That Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen disaster start on Wednesday really, really hurt me in one league. So it's really going to depend on how the Sabres do tonight is big for me in a lot of leagues. And then obviously Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen starting on Saturday. I'm kind of hesitant to start him after that last start, but I think I have to start him. Hope for that bounce back game. And that's going to really be a big factor in whether I win this week or not.
Well, good luck, my friend. It's already 2-0 for the Devils.
Oh,
just a heads up.
I didn't even realize that. That's crazy. Who scored?
Max Willman and Jesper Bratt.
Max Willman. I would not have told you. I would not have guessed that one. I'll tell you that one.
That's a funny one.
I'm hoping for some Mercer points tonight, but that was kind of a desperation, man. So we'll see what happens.
That's a good first question by Mr. Morris. He's got both Saros and Georgiev playing each other. Two teams who can easily score points. He's up 2 cats and goalies. Should I sit both or one?
Which cats are you up? That's kind of important. Are you up wins? Are you up like GAA save percentage? That's kind of an important thing, because if you're up by both GAA and save percentage, it's obviously scary to play your goalies. Like I get that. If you're down in wins and you play both of them, you're guaranteed a win, right? Pretty much. So that could definitely help you. Obviously, if it's a high scoring game, it could really hurt your GAA and save percentage. So what would you say for that one, Max?
This seems like a surprisingly sneaky low scoring games. I would say like 6 goals and less, because we're getting close to playoffs. Nashville just had that 18 game without losing in regulation streak, and Colorado is Colorado. Therefore, I think it's going to be tight. I think Nashville, on the back of a loss to Arizona, should come out strong.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to be a lot tired defensively after an 8-goal outburst by Arizona.
Yeah, it was bad. Everything was going in for quite some time.
Yeah.
It is the game that I was watching, unfortunately. But for the question, I would start both. You're in the playoffs. You're even if you're up by 2, like you said, it depends on the cats that he's up. GAA and save percentage up. So you do So you do need the win. Depend if you're down by 2 or 3 wins, maybe sit both. But if you're down by 1 win, go ahead and lock him up.
Yeah, honestly, it's you're guaranteed to win if you play both of them, and it shouldn't be too high scoring of a game. Obviously, we can't predict the future. It's possible that it ends up being, but they're both decent goalies, and it should end up being not too
Another
bad.
thing, another thing is there are 4 games before Colorado and Nashville play tomorrow. So if your opponent's goalies are playing beforehand, you can make a better decision on if you want to start or sit. You'll see if he has that win on you or not.
Yeah. That's a really good advice right there, because you can see if maybe his goalies went off and oh crap, now you need to actually catch up on GA and save percentage, then you absolutely got to play him. But if they play like crap and then you're way ahead on save percentage, then it changes things, you know. So yeah, need to start one of. Sorry, go ahead. No, go for it.
Well, I was going to say the same thing. Sam Bennett, Frank Vetrano, or JJ tomorrow. Banger Cats. I think that one is very easy for me, regardless of the matchups. Off the top of my head, I can't really tell you who Florida's playing. It's the Detroit Red Wings. But to me, that's an easy one. Sam Bennett is my lock.
I like Bennett. I don't think he's been particularly great lately. I think Peterka's been playing a lot better lately, and he's getting great deployment, top line, top power play. I wouldn't be against personally starting Peterka over Bennett. I think the upside's a little higher. The floor is definitely not as safe as Bennett. I would say if you need ceiling, go Peterka. If you need just a safe floor to maintain a league, then I wouldn't mind starting Bennett.
The reason I'm not going for Peterka is because Buffalo is playing for the 3rd time in 4 nights, the only team to play Friday, Saturday. It is the back end of a back-to-back. And remember, guys, Sam Bennett's playing with Matthew Tkachuk. So whether he's been good or not, you do know that he's going to get a couple hits. He should get a couple shots. And the points can always come, especially against Detroit at home. Yeah, and of course, Peterka at number 2 and Vetrano at number 3. Anaheim is
just has not been, the whole Ducks team has been a disaster lately. So
yeah. If you want to feel sad, go look at Ryan Strome's game log.
Oh my god, yeah! I looked at that. I think this morning I was like, "Holy crap, that's bad." Because I was looking maybe streaming a Ducks player for Sunday because there's only 2 teams that play on Sunday, and then I was like, Ryan Strome, his deployment is okay, and then I was looking at his game log. It's pathetic, absolutely pathetic. Yeah, but I would still say definitely a safe floor, Sam Bennett. You can't go wrong. If you really need upside, Peterka could have a bit of a higher ceiling than Bennett, but Bennett is still definitely the safer start.
Start Sammy Urson or Korpisalo for tomorrow. Already have Vasi. Do you really need to ask that question? Sammy Urson is playing Chicago at home. Korpisalo's playing in Winnipeg. I think everybody would take the same answer. Sammy Urson.
The thing is, Philadelphia just signed Fedotov. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
They sent Sandstrom down to the AHL, and they actually finally have Fedotov on the roster.
Interesting.
So maybe he's going to get the start tomorrow. Urson may not start that game. It definitely will be super interesting to see Fedotov get his first NHL start.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just double checking to see, just in case, if we have a likely or confirmation. I'll be doing that.
That's true. That's not a bad idea. And also, yes, Korpisalo has been really good lately, and it's been upsetting me because I'm against him in fantasy, and he's been terrible all year. And then all of a sudden, he decides to show up against me. So I would like to think he plays like crap tomorrow, but who knows? He's definitely been good. It's definitely not a terrible starting option, but definitely I would say if Urson does start tomorrow against Chicago, it's pretty hard to sit him. There's no confirmation for any of those guys. But yeah, there's a chance Urson sits. If he does, then fire up Korpisalo.
Lehkonen, Peterka, or Dylan Strome. Dylan Strome is playing against the Boston Bruins. Lehkonen is playing against the Nashville Predators, and Peterka is playing against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're all playing at home.
Okay. I would say if Nichushkin sits, if he's not playing again like last game, you got to fire up Lehkonen. He's got such good deployment when Nichushkin's out because he gets top power play, he gets generally top line time, if I'm not mistaken. That's where he's playing. No, he's not top line, but he's second line. He's getting plenty of high up. Actually, hold on, he didn't get power play one time. Hey, forget that. They gave it to Middlestead. I'm used to whenever Nichushkin's out, Lehkonen gains value, but for some reason they decided to give the power play one to Middlestead. So yeah, don't start Lehkonen.
So to me, it's Lehkonen or Dylan Strome. Dylan Strome PP1, second line with sorry, I'm having a blank, with Max Pacioretty and Mirosh Nishenko. By the way, Mirosh Nishenko, I met him at the draft. He was my favorite prospect from that draft. That's why I streamed him last week. Back against the wall.
Did well for you too.
Yeah, he did super well. I think this guy's going to be. I think this guy's going to be an absolute all-star in the league. I think he's going to be an absolute all-star in fantasy. This guy was already hitting guys twice his size at 16 years old. He's got an NHL caliber shot. He had one before he got drafted. Unfortunately, he had a cancer or a tough sickness. He overcame it. That's why he slid in the rankings at the draft. That's why Washington went for a Hail Mary. I think it was 25th or 26th, probably around these numbers. And they've been going at guys who either got injured throughout the year but have a super high potential. For example, Hendrix Lapierre, who was supposed to be a top 3 pick, got injured, COVID years. He ended up getting drafted 25th overall. Same thing for Mirosh Nishenko. So just a little heads up for even next year, in the next few years, I think Mirosh Nishenko, especially for Bangers League, is going to be very good.
Yeah, definitely a kid that's got a lot of talent. So it's going to be exciting to watch for the next few years. But yeah, I think I agree with Max here. Dylan Strome is your pick here. Lehkonen not getting power play one or top line time. Value is pretty limited. He's really a support player, so when he's playing with great players, his value is great. But when he's not, he doesn't do a whole lot. So I would definitely say Dylan Strome is probably your best bet. Dude's been pretty hot too, scoring like a point per game, and he's getting power play one time. Like what more can you want out of Dylan Strome?
Also, just in case, Lehkonen is a superstar in the playoffs. We are all in fantasy playoffs, so it's another piece to keep in mind.
in the regular playoffs, I would fire him up. But,
who is Jeek?
Jeek? Joel Eriksson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Larkin or Joel Eriksson. I absolutely adore Joel Eriksson, and when I actually suggested him in my preseason as like someone who's going to be a great value add, people like roasted me. They're like, Joel Eriksson, are you kidding me? But now you're seeing like how great Joel Eriksson has been. He's been like a top 40 player in fantasy. Like he's been that good. And who's Minnesota playing tomorrow? Minnesota is playing Vegas. Detroit's playing Florida. Give me Joel Eriksson.
Yeah, give me Jeek.
If you can start both of them, though, start both of them. I mean, well, who are you sitting to start to be sitting? Who are you starting instead of one of those?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because those are solid centers.
Yeah, you want to be starting those guys as much as you can.
Gwenzel in Montreal or Nyquist in Colorado? It's got to be Gwenzel. Forsberg is my other left wing, and all our natural left wingers. Of course, you fire up
That's
Forsberg.
BS. That's a load of BS, though, because Yahoo should have made Nyquist a right winger like months ago. He's been playing right wing the entire season. Like the entire season, he's been top line with Forsberg and with O'Reilly. Yet Yahoo was like, nah, we're not going to give him right wing. Same with JT Compher. Dude's literally been a center the entire year, and he's somehow just left wing, right wing. It doesn't make any sense.
GT Compher, I like that in our Cats league though. But got me some more face
adding
offs.
center to that doesn't exactly hurt anybody.
Yeah,
I know you had him in our league. I thought I had a chance at I was taking the face-off wins category against you because I was looking at all your centers. I'm like, okay, it seems like it's going to be pretty even. And I'm like, then I noticed you had JD Comfort. I'm like, I forget
That's funny.
it. Yeah, so you have to start Gensel over Nyquist 1,000%. The dude's an absolute stud. He's an actual like all-star in the league, whereas Nyquist is really a support player. He's been phenomenal this year playing with Forsberg because Forsberg has been that good, but he is a support player, whereas Gensel is great on his own. So you definitely have to play the stud over the guy who's playing well because of who's around him. In my opinion.
Absolutely. Who is Gwenzel playing just for fun? He's playing with Aho and Seth Jarvis on the first. So
let's not forget that Gensel's playing in Montreal tomorrow either, right?
Yeah. Although Caden Primo has been really good lately, if he starts,
he has been good. Is Primo confirmed tomorrow, or did he play last game? I remember.
To be honest, I have no idea.
I haven't been watching too many Habs games lately. No, he's not confirmed, so he must have played last game. I remember seeing his name recently there. Yeah. Okay, so he said his other center is McKinnon. That's why he has to sit Larkin or Joel Eriksson neck. And
yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Too bad you don't have like a utility spot or something, because that would help you out there. I'll let you take the next one.
Sounds good. Right before I streamed Devin Levi for tonight in the Creators League, so it's not looking too good. I just realized I was thinking about my players, Timo Meyer, the random Buffalo Sabres I acquired last week in our matchup.
I'm hoping that it keeps going like that, because I was about to stream Devin Levi, and then my opponent in one of my leagues actually grabbed him like 5 minutes before I was about to grab him. So I was like,
in one of my league, it was the same story with Jack Quinn last Wednesday, and he ended up going -3, and I was like, thank God, I missed him by a couple of minutes,
Yeah, no, I'm glad I got Jack Quinn in our league though. I mean, he didn't do all that great plus minus wise, but everything else, his categories were all right. I know I can't win plus minus this week anyway, so doesn't hurt me too much.
Vous pensez que De Smith va jouer dimanche? Non.
So in a translation for all of you guys that don't know French, does that
mean? Do you think Casey DeSmith starts on Sunday? The coach hinted at Silov starting, and especially the matchup. If Vancouver was playing a team like Colorado, Dallas, Vegas, Tampa Bay, they would have put DeSmith. But I think this is the one occasion where they'll feel comfortable with a younger goaltender or newer goaltender. And also, Casey DeSmith has never been a number one for a long period of time. Therefore, long stretches of games without a break can hurt a guy like that, especially if he's not used to playing 10, 12 games in a row. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to give him a rest.
Of course, against the Ducks. I mean, the Ducks have been so bad lately, so it's a good chance to give him the rest. The only counterpoint to that, though, is Vancouver's next set of games is on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a back-to-back set, so he will get a rest one of those two games. But it definitely doesn't hurt to rest him before that as well. And the coach hinted like Silov is going to get more than one game. And he's like, he kind of hinted that's going to be soon. So definitely Silov is probably going to get Anaheim. And honestly, in one of my leagues, I've already picked up Silovs for that Sunday game, because I'm not messing around. I know that goalies on that day, there's literally two of them that are going to be playing, and Vancouver should get the win that day, hopefully. So I've already picked up a goalie for that day, and I've picked up Silovs. Obviously, if he doesn't start, it sucks, but I'm willing to take that chance as of right now.
He asked, do you guys think I should stream Silov? It depends how much you're leading, how much you're trailing. It also depends if it's a Cats league. It depends on so many things.
Yeah. In a points-based league, that's where I stream Silovs. It's a very, very, very deep points-based league. But it doesn't have to be deep. Actually, sorry, the one that I stream Silovs in is actually an 8-man league. And it's I know it sounds a bit crazy to say out loud, but like there's nobody playing on Sunday. And if you're behind, and your lineup is full on Saturday, what the hell else are you going to do? You have to take the gamble. And I'm gambling that Vancouver is going to win that game, and I already know that DeSmith is not available in the league. Somebody owns DeSmith, so I'm like, Anaheim's not going to win that game. I need a goalie who's going to win.
How many trades do you have in that league?
How many ads?
Yeah.
3 ads per week. So it's
and you took one on Silov. You are very, very, very aggressive, Julian, when playoffs start. I feel like you're very conservative during the season. You do smart choices. You kind of go under the radar, but during the playoffs, you're an absolute savage.
When you have to win, you gotta. Yeah, he's referencing in our league because they said Lozone might be back this week on Tuesday, and I was like, screw it. The defense options are so bad. I added him on Monday. I'm like, I don't even care if he doesn't play on Tuesday because I dropped him for Raquel. So I'm like, it's not like Raquel's doing anything anyway. It's like I'm not losing anything if he doesn't start on Tuesday regardless. But he did play Tuesday, got 4 hits, then played again last night. Guess how many hits he got? Did you see this last night?
Raquel?
No.
Lozone.
Lozone. 11 hits last night.
Oh, beautiful.
11. And if you guys watch my waiver wire, I'm like way ahead. It was very close, and suddenly like I've got a decent distance. But if you guys watch my waiver wire video, all of those you watch, and like I suggested Lozone, especially if you're in a Cats league with hits or any kind of points based league where hits actually count as points. This dude is an absolute stud. The floor on this guy is super safe night in and night out. And you're not expecting points from him, but regardless, the hits, few blocks, couple shots, he's an absolute stud.
Yeah. I can't wait to rank him next year, especially for Cats League. I wonder where he's going to come out, if he's going to be a top 150.
He came out of nowhere too. Like he was always like hitting a little bit in the past, but this year he just decided to like take it to another level. He's just like, I'm just gonna hit everything in my path. And
somebody hurt him emotionally or something. He plays like he has that rage.
Yeah, it seems that way.
And he fights big guys too. I looked it up. Like I wanted to see it because you always hear about his hitting and stuff, and I don't watch too many Nashville games, so I went to look at his fight log on YouTube the other day, and he had a couple of good ones. He can chuck him. How tall is he? Lozone, do you know?
No, I'll check it out. He's a decently big boy. Like he's definitely not small, but
he's 6'1", 204. I feel like when I watch these videos, when he goes with some guys, the guys are so much bigger than him, and then you just see, like you said, the game logs where he has 11, 12, 7, 8, 9. So solid.
Speaking of guys who are way bigger, did you watch that fight the other day? It was Corey Perry versus what's his name on Winnipeg? That big defenseman they have.
No, not Sandberg. Is he in the NHL now?
Yeah, he's in the NHL. He sits out a lot, but Logan Stanley. That dude's I think 6'6" or something. Like he's massive. And Corey Perry, I think he's like 6'1", 6'2", and he looked like a freaking midget compared to him. And I was like, and then Corey Perry is probably used to being bigger than most guys that he fights because like 6'2" is still like pretty tall, but he looked like a midget, man. He was getting destroyed by Stanley. He wasn't even close.
I missed it. Damn.
You should check that one out. It was kind of funny. Let's look at that next comment here. I went ham on the Mustache King in my drafts. You made a video before the year started and said if he stays healthy, he can be a top 10 or even MVP worthy. And I took that mustache, right? Dude, I've always been a fan of Philip Forsberg. The biggest problem with him has been his ability to stay healthy. And he always misses, like, it seems like 20 games a year or something like that. And he's always such a stud. But if he can stay healthy, that dude, he's an absolute stud. And he's playing better this year than he ever has. And he's been healthy. So it's like double bonus. Dude scoring goals. Like, he's every time he plays, like, I'm like, it's
we're talking about Philip Forsberg, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm so happy to own him in my 8-man. I got him in like the 11th round or 12th round, something ridiculous.
It's the first year I ever get well, at least 4 or 5 years I get to have Forsberg, because normally Lou Brickant always has Philip Forsberg. Like it's a recurring team. But did you see the interview with Ryan O'Reilly last week, where he called Nyquist and Forsberg his little Swedish balls, meatballs?
No,
They're
I didn't see that.
yeah. I don't know what he asked, but he referred to his lines mate as his little Swedish meatballs.
That's pretty good. That's pretty funny.
My one league I'm in has Marner as can't cut in Yahoo, and there's no IR plus spot. Do you guys know if that setting can be changed for next year? It's quite unfortunate for me. So
For one thing, if you're in a league without IR plus spots, you're not in a great league, man.
that's the first thing I was gonna say. And also, I'm for the can't cut list, because there's no corruption that way. You won't have guys dropping Crosby, Matthews, Marner. The can't cut list is only for the first 2 rounds, I believe, and some players that Yahoo randomly decide aléatoirement, like they randomly decide who to give the can't cut to. But I know that the first 2 rounds you can't drop them, and yeah, it fixes like little allegiances at the end of the year that friends can do. So personally, I like the can't cut, but you definitely have to put some IR plus spot, because that can sink you real quick.
That's actually one thing I want to fix about our league a little bit, because we got 2 normal IR spots and 1 IR plus. Why not just make it 3 IR plus? If a player's injured, you should be able to swap them out regardless.
Because this is the NHL of Cats League, Julian.
Silly, man. Silly.
I know you hate it, but yeah,
in my leagues it's all IR plus spots, so you don't need a normal IR spot. Like IR plus covers everything, and if your player's injured, you deserve to be able to swap them out. I don't care how short term the injury is or whatever it is. You deserve to be able to use that spot. That's just my opinion.
You do know, okay, so our league is a relegation league, but I put you in the top league, of course. The other league has actually, it's going to be 1 IR, 2 IR plus they have an NA spot. So we give more in the second division. In the first division, we got to deal with what we got to deal. But hey, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Like I have Gudis, Akanpa, Marner, 1 week before playoff starts, you have Akanpa, Gudis, Marner, TJ Oshie, Sean Corrali, Noel Achari. They all died on me within 5 days. So
that really helped me, actually. The Gudis injury specifically helped me win hits against you. So
in the other league I'm in, I finally dropped him Thursday. I had him in my lineup, not even on an IR plus spot. Like, I'm still alive. I went through the first round, but midway through the second, losing by a little bit, I had to drop him. It breaks my heart.
I agree. And with Anaheim, it's so frustrating, the injury updates, because you don't get any. The Ducks are so bad at that. So you don't know if he's like weeks away or if he's a couple days away. You don't know.
Well, that's because I guess MLS and the Dodgers season started. So there's no journalist in Anaheim.
I think that's the whole season.
Yeah, especially with the season they're having. Owen Tippett or Tage Thompson for tomorrow. Philadelphia is playing at home against Chicago.
I'm a big Tippett fan, man.
And Tage Thompson.
I would personally Tippett versus Chicago, or Tage versus, who are they playing tomorrow? Buffalo, Toronto.
I
mean, Tage has not been too bad lately. He seems to be bouncing back a little bit, but I love Tippett, man. I love Tippett. The matchup's better, especially if it's Soderblom in nets. That is a juicy matchup.
Random stat: 3 goals, 3 assists, -2 in 12 games all time against Chicago. And how's Tage Thompson? 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points, -2 in 15 games.
Against Toronto.
Yes, but he has 6 points in his last 4 games against the Leafs. Okay. I think I would ride Tage Thompson.
Even though he's on the second half of a back-to-back?
Yeah, he's dimensions above Peterka for now. In
But we're
my,
talking. We're not talking about Paterka though. We're talking about.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, because I said earlier that I wouldn't pick Peterka because he's on the end of a back-to-back. Tage Thompson is still the all-star in Buffalo, so in my opinion, he must be held at a higher standard.
Fair. That's fair. I don't mind. I don't mind starting Tage tomorrow. But if Soderblom starts for Chicago, it's really hard
Yeah.
to bench Owen Tippett. It's pretty hard to
Well,
bench.
for sure that Owen Tippett against Chicago on paper is the best matchup. I'll give you that much. I would say that it's probably the better recommendation, but just a gut feeling for a first/second round pick in Tage Thompson, you ride your best guys in the playoff, and that's what it's a tough one though. That's the best questions we've had so far.
Yeah, that's actually honestly a really tough one because it's hard to sit a stud like that. So I'm tending to agree with you now, Tage. But if Soderblom starts, it's going to be really hard for you to bench him.
Yeah,
that's my upset. That's my advice.
What's up, guys? Not sure if you talked about this, but do you think Vince Dunn and Aiden Hill come back next week? I'm likely moving on to finals, but don't want to be holding on to people who won't play. Personally,
Listen, Dunn has been day to day for what, 3 weeks or something? Like,
yeah. Before I comment, let's take a look.
He's still wearing a non-contact jersey, Vince Dunn. It doesn't seem likely that he's going to play. And with Seattle's playoff odds pretty much non-existent, there's no reason to rush this guy back. It's not like they're fighting for a playoff spot. It's not like I don't think Vince Dunn's going to play, especially if he's still skating in a non-contact jersey. Maybe he comes back at the very, very end of like next week, but
Tage just scored.
yeah.
That's what our friend. So yeah, you ride your superstars. I would say though a little advice for Alex Scranton: don't decide until Sunday night. If you're likely moving on to the finals, unless you want to make moves to win your week right now. But if you have a good lead, you're moving on. Wait till Sunday night, just in case there's new development with Aiden Hill and Vince Dunn.
I 100% agree, but aren't you probably holding these guys on IR plus spots anyway? Like, there's no reason to drop them if they're sitting on an IR plus spot.
There is so many injuries going on, so I wouldn't be surprised that he has.
That's fair.
And also, hold on. Aiden Hill is a drop. I will change that right now. Aiden Hill has 2 games next week, and they're against Vancouver on Tuesday and in Arizona. So Aiden Hill is an absolute drop, and I would keep Vince Dunn.
Yeah. Logan Thompson's not a drop because he probably gets both of those games. But yeah, Aiden Hill. And I mean, if you have the IR space and you're playing the week after that, you could hold on to Aiden Hill. But other than that, he's a drop in most leagues. But yeah, Vegas' schedule next week sucks. They're the only team that plays 2 games or less. Every other team plays 3 or 4 games next week. Vegas' schedule, if you watch my drops video, guys, I was suggesting a lot of Vegas players as drops. And the reason for that is like they play Tuesday and then they play Friday. So I was saying if you have room for them on Tuesday, you could play them on Tuesday and then drop them after that because they're only playing 1 game for the entire rest of the week. And if that's your fantasy final, holding them for 5 days and only playing 1 game is just not worth it. You can grab a player from a team that plays probably 3 games. So definitely something that's a little bit more worthwhile. Is Velarde a drop? Well, he's back tonight.
Who are your other players? Who are your right wingers?
Yeah, we need to know how big your league is too. If you're in a deep league, he's definitely not a drop. He definitely has some serious upside, and he is playing a line right now with Connor and Shifley. So the upside is there.
Did he play yesterday, Villardi?
He did. Not sure if he played yesterday, but he's back next game at the very least.
And yes, Alex, that's definitely the way to go.
Yeah. No, he didn't play last game, Vlad. He's playing tomorrow though, with Shifley and Connor, which is a great deployment. Getting top power play time as well. You saw when this dude was hot at some point this year, he was unstoppable. So if he's able to perform even slightly like that, you were getting an absolute treat back into your lineup. Obviously, it could be like, the stretch where he absolutely sucked and was doing nothing, but you got to cross your fingers and hope that he plays like he did earlier this season.
And also, Winnipeg's playing 3 games next week, Monday, Thursday, Saturday. Play him on Monday, drop him on Tuesday for a better schedule. For example, Vancouver was playing 2 games Tuesday and Wednesday, so you can maximize your game for finals week.
You could. I'm not totally against holding Villardi either, especially if you do have room in your lineups, because next week there's not much of off nights for any particular week because all the days are not that busy.
Sorry, did you say that Villardi was a drop?
No.
Before? Okay.
No. No, I don't think Villardi is a drop at all.
Especially in a 12-man points league, just for now, with no games on Sunday. Nah, you keep Villardi for day one of the final.
For sure. And obviously, if he lights it up, it's going to be a really easy decision for you to keep him. And you probably can fit him in your lineup all week just because off nights are not really a big thing next week. All the days are pretty balanced in terms of amount of games. So definitely not. Honestly, a really good schedule for the fantasy finals. I really like that because it really showcases the best teams. You don't have to bench anybody or anything like that, or make crazy moves for off nights like that and be limited by the pool. It's whoever has the best team, whoever makes the actual best moves and that are not schedule dependent is going to win, which is absolutely awesome.
I'm dropping Holla, Pederka, Benson for next week.
Oh yeah, Benson, you definitely shouldn't be on your team next week. Holla, he was good for tonight. The depth of that off night. And Peterka, yeah, you don't need him on. I 100% agree.
Eric Holla has 4 games though: Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. If you're able to keep him for Tuesday, Wednesday, it gives you another option to drop on Thursday.
That's
for
fair,
3 and 4.
That's totally fair.
I'm super big on schedule. Benching Stützle Saturday. Listen, last time we did a live stream, I recommended Stützle over many players. So did you, and he exploded for 4 points. So if we keep this trend going, Tim Stützle is gonna have a monster night tomorrow, and I need him to.
He's gonna go off tomorrow.
do not bench Tim Stützle tomorrow.
I'm actually kind of hoping for the opposite because one of my opponents has Stützle, so I need a crappy night from Tim Stützle tomorrow. But it's hard to recommend dropping or not dropping, but not playing a guy with so much upside, such a stud. So no, you got to play your studs, man. Because if you lose because you benched a stud, you're gonna feel like crap. But if you lose having played all your best players, like you did your best, and you know that you played your best players, and you lost with your head held high, So that's the way I look at it.
But Jose, who would you bench Stützle for is another question. And what is the size of your league? I also got Tuck. Do you drop him? And I got Tage. No, you do not drop your studs.
Tuck and Tage in a 12-man? No. They seem to be heating up right now, which is nice actually to see. So both those guys should have still a decent amount of value next week.
Does Zegras have any value for next week? No. Simple answer. No.
Listen, it's the fantasy playoffs. You can't be waiting for somebody to break out. You just can't. You need players who are performing now. And Zegras isn't it, man?
He's finally not on the third line anymore. He's on the second with Vetrano and Ryan Strome, but
I don't care. I don't
no.
care. The Ducks are an absolute dumpster fire right now. Nobody's scoring. Nobody's doing anything. Literally, the only two players that are actually not complete garbage right now are Fowler and Mintyukov, and I still wouldn't add those guys.
Oh, I had a Minchukov for Gudis yesterday. It broke my heart.
At least he's not being terrible. He's getting some power play time. He's putting some peripherals and seems to be putting up points every couple of games. So he's not the worst, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of any of the Ducks players right now.
So the question was basically Stützle or Wyatt Johnston. Same answer as earlier. Ride your superstars. You drafted Tim Stützle high. First two, first three, possibly first 4 rounds. 8-man league, actually, that would possibly be second to fifth round pick. I know Wyatt Johnston has been really good lately. A couple weeks ago he was doing really well. The Stars are doing well in their own sense.
He's playing on that good line with Jamie Benn.
Jamie Benn, Logan Stankoven.
Stankoven's been doing nothing, which is crazy because his line's been doing well.
But it shows that his utility, they're watching him and the other guys are getting open. But no, I even if my superstars aren't doing well, I never bench your superstars in the playoffs.
Of course not.
It's a mistake you do once, and then you'll never do it again afterwards.
Yeah. The last thing you want is to lose because you benched Stützle, and you're like, oh well, he's my superstar, and I benched him, and now I'm going to lose the league. You don't want that.
Ekblad or OEL? Ekblad.
Neither. Can you find literally anybody else?
No, I'll disagree with you. I'll disagree with you for this one. I really like Ekblad for next week. He just got back. Is a big
Tuesday back to back.
Yeah, they're playing Monday, Tuesday, and they're one of 3 teams to play Monday, Tuesday. There's the Pittsburgh Penguins, the New York Islanders, and the Florida Panthers.
Give me Ryan Pulock over any of those 2 guys.
Who?
Pulock. Ryan Pulock.
From the Islanders. Yeah.
Ever since I don't trust Ekblad at all, honestly. And Pulock at least will give you better peripherals usually. I don't like any of those options. If you can fit a forward, maybe go for that instead. Honestly, these defense options are not good.
Don't forget that's a 12-man league. So probably Pulock is probably already taken.
Well, if Ekblad's not taken, Pulock's probably not taken.
Because Ekblad's been injured. Kind of like the low zones. These guys, they're usually taken, but we're in the playoffs. A lot of these guys who were out, some guys, they don't have IR+,
Yeah.
But great advice. I would take Pulock in front of Ekblad as well. But I like Ekblad for next week.
Yeah, Pulock, man, is... Yeah, I mean, Ekblad would be my number 2 for sure. Ekblad's on the better team. If you need plus-minus, then I guess... Not even, honestly, Ekblad's plus-minus. Go Pulock if you need a defenseman. If not, go Ekblad.
Congratulations, Alex, on your first place finish.
That's awesome. 17-5 is a pretty great record, man. Your Yahoo ranking must have gone way up, which is pretty awesome. You diamond ranked yet? Pulock from the Islanders is available. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Plus, they're really soft matchup. Well, pretty soft matchups at Philadelphia against Chicago at home.
Yeah. I mean, Florida's matchups aren't too bad either. Toronto and Montreal are not exactly defensive juggernauts. Listen, if you feel more comfortable taking Ekblad than Pulock, I don't think the difference between them is going to be all that big. So go for Ekblad. Personally, I just don't like Ekblad. I think he's been bad this year. And that might be a personal bias, but I think Pollock is someone who I would probably consider over him.
Isn't Ekblad like plus 26?
Is he actually?
Yeah, he's not that bad. But yeah, points wise, it hasn't been his best year. I'll give you that much.
Fucker, Ekblad's a plus 26.
Yeah, last I checked.
I guess it's a factor of playing on such a good team. But hey, Ryan Pollock's a plus 3 over his past 3 games.
Attaboy. On pace for plus 82.
3 points in his last 4 games is not too bad either. Shooting a decent amount.
But you know what I like about Ekblad, though? It's those double-digit goals every single season, you know? He's only got 4 and 48. Don't you think that during the last 10 games he'll score like 3-4 just to put the average on pace to his career? No hope, eh?
Oh man, I don't.
40 goals in the past 3 years, and he hasn't even had a full season in one of the 3 years. Absolutely no hope. No.
I'm not seeing it.
You still wouldn't go for OEL over Ekblad, though? Okay,
God,
good.
God,
okay.
No. OEL is a disaster, man. I'm actually surprised he did as well as he did at some point this season. But
I remember telling you at the beginning of the season, I think I wrote to you, I said, I'm so happy I got OEL. And you were like, why? He sucks. And I was like, oh.
I think I straight up said that. He's not been good for a number of years now.
But he was really good for a month.
I think I sent you the same message about Kuznetsov too.
yeah. But that for OEL, I was like, fine. He'll be good for a month. But Julian's right. He'll go back down. But Kuzi doesn't suck. He's all right. Give him a chance.
He started off strong in Carolina, and since then it's been pretty bad. So
yeah, he still looks good with the puck, though. I did watch a couple of Carolina games in the past couple of weeks, and even the games where he has donuts all around. He's so streaky. He sometimes, man. Sometimes when I watch him like skate with the puck on the power play, he makes me think of Kovalev. Sometimes. Without the shot from the face-off dot, but the way he shifts left, right, passes to the point, it gives me reminiscence.
He was Kovalev,
man. Yeah, he wishes. Yeah.
Alex, I skyrocketed to platinum. I was blessed to have Matthews, Nylander stack, Panarin, and Forsberg. Wow. I avoided Panarin this year because, in my opinion, he was being drafted too early. But then he decided to just start shooting like a madman, which like increased his value like tenfold. And so he was actually scoring more goals because he decided to finally shoot the puck, which is something he wasn't doing for so many years. And I'm actually happy to see that for him, and happy to see him doing so well. And obviously, Nylander this year was kind of unprecedented how well he did. Like, obviously, he's always been a great player, but he took his talent to like next level this year. And honestly, if you're a Leafs fan, which I am not, you're definitely happy to see that. But yeah, no, Nylander has definitely impressed me for sure this year. And Forsberg, obviously, one of my favorite players in the NHL. Absolutely love that man. What about Wyatt Johnston over Alex Tuch? Dallas has the better matchup. What's Alex? What's Johnston's game log look like? Has he still been like really hot as he was like a week ago?
I'm gonna go.
Okay, so last game I just pulled it up. Last game he had nothing. The game before that he had 2 goals and an assist, and the game before that had a goal. And then the 2 games before that had nothing. So over his last 5 games, he's got 4 points. 3 of them came in 1 game. So he's definitely got that kind of boom or bust type of level. Over Alex Tuch, though, Tuck is playing on a pretty good line, excuse me, against the Leafs tomorrow, but is on that second half of back-to-back. Wyatt Johnston is playing on second or third line, whatever you want to call that. Against the Kraken tomorrow, I'm expecting Decord to be in nets tomorrow. So in his last start, he did get a shutout. Obviously, I think he only made 12 saves because it was against the Ducks.
Shut out against Anaheim, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but prior to that game, he hadn't been that great. It's hard to tell which Decord you're going to get on a nightly basis because we saw how good the dude can be, and I like Decord a lot. We saw how good he can be when he's on, right? So I'd probably play it safe and stick with Alex Tuck, but that's definitely a much closer call than your previous question.
I'll gamble. Let's go with Johnston. Tuck on the end of the back-to-back. Yes, he is a star, but I think I hold Tage Thompson to a higher standard than I hold Alex Tuck. So I would go with Wyatt Johnston with the better man.
Either. That's a gamble. He's not like Tuck is one of your like top players there. I don't mind taking that gamble either. I personally think Tuck might be better, might end up doing better, but that's just a gut feeling and not based on any kind of stats.
Yeah, well, he is technically he is playing more minutes. I believe he is playing more minutes. He is on the first line. He is a bigger part for his own team, but Dallas has the better matchup. We missed a question by Richard. Who to drop to activate Eriksson Ek in a 10-man Cats league? Okay. McTavish, Ryan Hartman, Sam Bennett, Quinton Byfield, or Brock Nelson?
That's the easiest question we've had all night. McTavish, he's been so bad.
Yeah. I was just double checking
the only disadvantage to that is because McTavish plays on Sunday, and if it's a really close matchup, you might want to keep him just in case you need some points on Sunday, and like by some miracle he actually does something.
I just went to look just to see like what Quinton Byfield's been up to. I know he was hot a month or two ago. People were talking about him. He's still hot, and I feel like nobody's talking about Quinton Byfield. Like not fantasy wise, but in the hockey world, you know, people were so quick to jump on this guy, call him a bust. Man, it was so bad.
Dude, I've been a fan of Quinton Byfield since he was, before he was drafted, and I even have like my Kings jersey. The only Kings jersey I own is a Quinton Byfield jersey.
Nice. But we were told at the draft, like we were literally told, this guy might be NHL ready, but to become the player that he will become, it will take a while. He's a big boy that didn't master his skating at the time, you know. I love what I'm seeing. Great chemistry with Kopitar. He goes in the dirty areas. He skates really fast. He goes for the hits. Sometimes he stops and he tries to poke check. And I'm like, just finish your check, man. But overall, great player. I love Quinton Byfield as well.
Yeah, honestly, it's awesome to see his development over the past couple seasons. But back to the question, if you have to drop someone that's not McTavish because he's desperate and need McTavish for that Sunday start, for example, who would you drop instead?
Right, Ryan Hartman.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. I don't think Hartman is that great. Obviously,
Hartman has been really good. Really,
I agree. I suggested him in my my most recent waiver wire video, but you can't drop any of those other guys. And if you're off this week and you don't need the extra McTavish game, you're absolutely keeping Hartman because Minnesota plays 4 games next week, and you want those games.
I was about to say it's very important to look at the schedule for next week. Minnesota's playing 4 games. The Islanders are playing 4 games.
Ducks only played 3, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering this properly. Let's check. Yeah, the Ducks only played 3 games. And again, McTavish has not been good at all. So he's such an easy drop. Unless you're desperate for points this week to like try to scrape out a win, then you kind of have to keep him for Sunday. But I wouldn't drop anyone yet. Wait, if you have same day ads, wait until Saturday as late as you can. And if you get no day-to-day injuries where you can swap out somebody for Eriksson Ek, then you'll have to make that decision. and drop either McTavish or Hartman based on your needs.
Yeah. I had to decide who to drop, Carlson or Werenski this week. I dropped Werenski.
Why did you have to drop one of those two guys? That's a rough decision. Oh my
Four-man
goodness.
league?
Seriously. I would not drop Werenski, man. But I wouldn't drop Carlson either. Why did you have to drop one of those guys? I mean, I think that was the right decision if you had to drop one of those two guys. Because considering how hot Ovechkin and the Capitals have been, like you need to keep Carlson on your team, but damn. Leafs are looking scary this year. Sure. Sure. I'm not a Leafs fan at all. I'm a Habs fan. So as scary as the Leafs look every single year, they're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. You heard it here first.
I'm having, honestly, I think Toronto's passing the first round as long as they don't get Boston. Because every year I make the same mistake. I tell myself, oh, well, they don't have this. Boston doesn't have Chara anymore. They're done. And then Toronto gets eliminated. Bergeron was injured. At some point, I said, I don't know if they can go far with Oldmark and Swayman. Boston wins. So I'm not making that mistake again.
Yeah, 1,000% agree.
But for the question, should you drop Kochetkov, Markstrom, Kochetkov, and Anderson? So basically dropping Kochetkov and Anderson for Woll and Samsonov. Why?
No.
Why? Woll might not even get a game next week, or he'll get Montreal Saturday. It also depends. It also depends on.
I'm expecting Samsonov to start on Monday and Saturday, and we'll probably get Tampa Bay because they're probably going to rotate them. They're not going to just give Sam. They're probably not going to give Sam 2 starts in a row. But you're probably right. Woll may only get 1 start next week, even if you're right and he gets Montreal.
Woll got 2 straight matchup. I don't think Sheldon Keefe cares. I think he's doing his own thing.
Sammy was a bit injured though. Samsonov was
for one game. He was ready Thursday. I think they just
wanted. I think they wanted to just rest him just in case. They don't want to risk anything.
Look, we don't know, but listen, I think it was more about Woll's. To be honest with you, I think it was to see how Woll could react to losing 2 games, not playing well. Because if he would have messed up, he was done. It was Martin Jones, the backup, until the end of the year.
I don't know about that, but yeah, he responded to that bad game with a really, really good one. And I was really happy to see that because I actually had Woll, and I was so happy to see him start 2 games in a row. Obviously, was not happy with the first result, but very, very happy for the second one. So, to answer your question, what I personally would do, no, I wouldn't drop Anderson for the Toronto tandem. I don't mind dropping Kochetkov for next week. The reason being, they alternate starts 1-1-1-1-1. So Kochetkov starting tomorrow, but Anderson is going to be starting 2 out of 3 games for Carolina next week. Kochetkov's going to get 1, and I think it's not even till Thursday or Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Thursday. Friday. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, Friday. And so holding him the entire week just to get 1 start from him on Friday is ridiculous. Swap him out for a forward, even if it's not a goalie. So, get some games for your fantasy finals next week instead of holding Kochetkov for an entire week just to get 1 game. It's not worth it. But no, I wouldn't drop them for the Toronto tandem.
No. Which D should I sit? Matheson, Montour, Werenski, or Carlson? I have Makar in already. Montour.
Matheson, Montour. Matheson's really turned up the heat lately, and he's the single-handed reason that I beat Max last week.
Tied.
Well, yeah, tied, but my better regular season standing. Yeah. Yeah, that
What a
short-handed
stud,
man.
Matheson. Wasn't that a good finish though? 8-8.
That was crazy finish. It was a crazy finish. I thought I had lots. As soon as Andre got the win, I was like, no. And then out of nowhere, just a miracle.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was Matheson with the shorthanded. Now I understand. Nah, bench Madison.
He tried so hard to win me the week. It's like he knew, man. Like, because I could have won on plus minus as well, and he was a +5 that night. He's a
Yeah.
minus player every single game, but he was a +5. He just wanted me to win so bad. And then when he saw that I couldn't win with the plus minus, he was like, no, I got to score a shorty for this guy.
Yeah, he's incredible.
It's funny because
So
I had
we're
friends that knew him growing up. So pretty funny. Any sneaky pickups for Sunday? Seelovs, like I mentioned before, is probably going to start for Vancouver. So if you're in a points-based league, he's probably going to get that win against a terrible Ducks team. That's a great sneaky ad. Hoglander at only a few percent roster to someone who's playing on the top line with Patterson Garland as well.
I got one for you.
Go for it.
Dakota Joshua back
Yes.
from injury.
Yeah, that's a nice sneaky pick. And the nice thing about streaming Dakota Joshua, he's only playing on third line right now, but the floor is super safe with his hits. And the nice thing is if you end up winning this week, next week the Canucks have a back-to-back set Tuesday and Wednesday. So not only does he help you out this week, you'll be able to play him for those Tuesday, Wednesday games, and after that you can drop him if you want to. But it's definitely going to be solid both for Sunday and for next week. And also, it's the same thing for Seelovs. If Seelovs actually ends up starting on Sunday, like I think he will, he's going to get probably the second half of that back-to-back set for Vancouver. And that second half of the back-to-back set is on Wednesday, which is an off night, and it's against Arizona. So Seelovs could have two really nice matchups where he could potentially get wins and put up some good numbers as well. That's definitely an ad that I don't mind making. If you're desperate, go for it.
If you're talking sneaky and deeper leagues, if you need to go fishing, let's say Garland, GT Miller, and Oglander, Pedersen, Bezer, even Dakota Joshua, put Teddy Bluger in there. If they're all taken, P.S. Sutter is the four-line center, but he is PP1. We're fishing, but deep leagues.
That's a desperate one, but yeah.
Sneaky pickup. I like P.S. Sutter more than I like Ilya Mikheyev. There's also Bud Carlson who hits a lot from the fourth line. I would just go fishing on the Canucks roster. Don't touch the Ducks.
I wouldn't say avoid the Ducks completely. Like if there's really bad options on Vancouver, maybe Leo Carlson, maybe Alex Killorn. That's about all I would touch on the Ducks, I think.
Do you think Anaheim is scoring more than 2 goals against Vancouver? I'm thinking this is going to be a 5-2, 6-2 kind of game.
Probably. But if I had to pick someone to score 1 or 2 of those goals for Anaheim, would be Killorn.
Yeah, I was watching a Ducks game last week, and everybody just seemed so amorph. And Killorn was on the bench, and he was screaming. He was screaming at the ref. He was screaming at his own players. He's the only one that cares,
Yeah.
Like, not far, some guys were smiling and stuff. And this team needs a reality check, man. I'd rather watch... when you watch the Chicago Blackhawks, sometimes they'll be losing like 4. Like it's really rare because they've been playing like really tight games, especially with Mrazek.
Yeah.
But you see Chicago losing 3-0, 3-1, 4-1. It's not a lack of effort.
Nope.
It's just that quarter of a second that's not there on some defensive plays, lack of judgment, but the effort's still there. They get scored on and they're back in the offensive zone a minute later. This is not the case with the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah. And the Blackhawks I love too, watching that game where they came back against the San Jose Sharks. They were down 3 or 4-0, and they came back and won the game. That was pretty cool to see. Obviously, it's a battle of the 2 worst teams in the NHL, but you love to see that effort from the bottom feeding teams like that. Is Martin Necas a drop? How bad has Necas been lately? Do we have a game log on him? I don't own him in the league, so
I've never owned Necas.
I've never owned Necas either. He's never been one of my favorite draft options. So last game he scored. And over the past 5 games, he has 4 points, but over the past 3, he only has that 1 goal.
But amazing shot volume, eh?
Yeah, really good shot volume.
That's a really, really, really good progression from the last few years.
But he's playing on the third line with Martinuk and Kuznetsov. I mean, personally, I think that's a terrible.
Superstar.
I think that's a terrible deployment. How deep is your league that you're considering dropping Natchez? I mean, I know Carolina's schedule really isn't the best. They play 3 games, which is not the worst either, but they don't play until Thursday and Friday, which is rough. It's definitely a reason to consider the drop. And if you're in a shallower league, you definitely can. And you could stream a player literally for 2-3 games before you for 2 games before you get a single game from Natchez. It really depends how deep your league is. I'm not sure if you agree, Max.
Yeah. I can't answer without more details.
Yeah. If you're in a shallow league, easy drop. If you're in a super deep league, it's going to be a lot harder to justify it. With regards to goalies, what 2 waiver wire pickups can you roll with for next week? Waiver wire pickups? Well, I don't like Decord. It really depends how he does tomorrow. If he does really well tomorrow, they may give him more starts. It's a bit more risky, though, because it can still give Grubauer every second start. So not my favorite option. Logan Thompson, if he's available, is a great goalie ad. I doubt he's available, though. Let's see here. Well, if you watched my my waiver wire video, I really did break down every single goalie that would be available in any kind of league and how many games exactly I see them playing. Like literally, if you look at my goalie list and my waiver wire video, I have numbers like literally next to their game and how many games I am projecting them to play next week. And I figured that was important for you guys because it's the fantasy finals. So I wanted you guys to be very aware of what you are picking up and how many games you should expect from that goalie. And one of my options was Philadelphia. Sammy Urson should get 3 games. It really, with Fedotov signing, that might shake things up a little bit. But 2 of the matchups are against Montreal and Chicago as well, which is really, really juicy. The Flyers still are a little bit fighting for a playoff spot. So I don't think they're going to go too hard on starting Ivan Fedotov. So that could be a really solid streaming option if he is available to you in your league. Yeah, what do you think next?
I'm looking at goalies, and I'm also looking at percentages. I know. Do you think Philip Gustafsson is available in many people's leagues, or probably not? Eh.
I think he was dropped in a lot of leagues. And sorry, excuse me. Philadelphia doesn't play Chicago next week. They play Montreal, like I said, but they play New Jersey. That was the other league team. My bad.
So Philip Gustafsson could play against Chicago. He could play. I know they're playing a couple of really good teams and a couple of really bad teams next week. My computer is lagging. I apologize, but I'm looking at.
Completely ignored my advice on Urson. I was looking at the wrong league. He'd only get 2 games, so forget about that one.
Did you say that Korpisalo has been really good lately? I didn't really
Korpisalo has been really good lately. He could get 3 games next week. It's not a terrible option, although he could definitely fall off a cliff really fast. A tandem that I don't mind going for this week, one that I like a lot actually, is Kakkonen and Jake Allen. They've been playing very, very well, and they have 2 sets of back-to-backs. So
you're getting 2 games for sure.
Both of them will get 2 games. So even if Jake Allen's not available, if you're in a super deep league, Kakkonen probably is available. And his last start, he got a shutout. So he's definitely playing pretty well. And the Devils are fighting hard to try to get into that last playoff spot, even though they probably won't make it. They're fighting. And I definitely think that could be a decent streamer if you're in desperate need for a goalie.
Casey DeSmith.
Casey Smith should get 2 starts. He'll probably start against Vegas on Tuesday and then LA on Saturday, which are tough matchups. So
Yeah, and he's away.
recommendation.
I'm naming names, because I have the list on there, but I didn't see a schedule. It's actually pretty horrible. So let's
Yeah, I
scratch that.
suggested one thing that I also suggested in my waiver wire video is Stolars. I'm only expecting him to get 1 game next week, but the Panthers do have a back-to-back set Monday and Tuesday against the Leafs and the Habs. So Stolars probably gets the game against Montreal, and that's kind of a juicy matchup. And Stolars is one of the most underrated goalies in the entire NHL, in my opinion. I've been saying that for so many years, and he's really showed how good he can be this year.
Really, I've never noticed or seen anything out of the ordinary with him, but good to know.
But
You
I
think
mean,
they're
that's probably because he's been pretty good. Like if he was really bad, you would have noticed.
Yeah, for sure. The court is starting tomorrow.
He has to. He's coming off a shutout, and then they gave last game to Grubauer, and Grubauer didn't shut out Anaheim. So I would bet that Gakord is starting tomorrow. It's not confirmed or anything, but that would be my.
For points league, I would keep an eye out for Grubauer on Monday, but I would definitely wait for confirmation because Seattle is playing San Jose. Teams who are playing San Jose this week: Seattle, Los Angeles, St. Louis, Arizona. So we're talking probably most second goalies. We're talking Grubauer. We're talking David Riddish. We're talking Binnington or Olfer, Connor Ingram. But of course, don't go add these guys before they get the green check marks. But I'm talking about possible ads for next week that could really give you a big boost for the final.
The one backup I would add for next week though is the Stolars because he's getting one of the back-to-back starts there, and one guy we haven't mentioned because he is not available in a lot more leagues anymore is Charlie Lindgren. The dude's been phenomenal lately. No one's talking about him really, but he has been really, really good. Kemper is non-existent anymore. He doesn't exist in Washington. Basically, it is the Charlie Lindgren show, and it's awesome to see as a Habs fan who watched him kind of grow up into the NHL. So.
Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned him. He was the next one on my list. Plus, Washington's playing three out of the 4 teams that Washington are playing are 500 or a little bit under 500 in Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Ottawa.
Yeah, so he's for sure getting 3 out of the 4 starts. Kemper will unfortunately get 1 start because there was a back-to-back set there, but Lindgren is an awesome ad, in my opinion. Go for it.
No, go. Well, I was gonna say even against Lindgren is starting to be so good that you can almost trust him even against the best teams of the league.
Yeah,
he won't give up more than 3 goals.
It really seems that way. Yeah. Caulfield or DeBrincat for next week. And guys, if you do have any more questions, we're going to wrap this up soon. So get them in here, and we'll try to get through them, and then we'll say goodnight and let you guys try to set your lineups in the best way. And yeah, good luck. Anyway, Caulfield or DeBrincat for next week. So Caulfield, if I'm not mistaken, he plays 4 games. Yeah, he does. Detroit only plays 3. So that's something to factor in right away. I'm assuming you have weekly lineups, which is a terrible way to play hockey. No offense. Or are you just asking, like, are you going to drop one of them? If you are you in like a really shallow league?
So, yes, Detroit plays 3 games, but they do play on Monday. And also Cole Caulfield, like obviously, if you have to set your lineups beforehand, of course, take the schedule. You always take 4 games over 3. But Cole Caulfield is also playing Florida, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and the New York Rangers. 4 teams who are for sure making the playoffs. They all have above 40 victories. Therefore, more games, but tougher games.
But I mean, Detroit's also playing Tampa Bay, the Rangers, and then Buffalo. So only one of those games is in theory a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Honestly, since the beginning of the season, DeBrincat hasn't really impressed me that much. I don't mind going Cole Caulfield at this point. That Suzuki line is doing well. Slavkovsky's looking good, and they're jiving right now. So give me 4 games of Caulfield over 3 games of DeBrincat.
Did you know that Daniel Sprong is on the first line?
What? No, I didn't know that.
I just went to check where the Brinket plays. The Brinket plays with Comfer and David Perron, and Daniel Sprong is with Larkin and Raymond.
I doubt that's going to last very long, but that's interesting. Their lines are always changing over there, so it's hard to keep up in Detroit. But
it was because of the illness Patrick Kane got yesterday. Another injury for me.
But he's probably if he's in tomorrow, which he probably will be. He's going to be back on that line probably with Larkin and Raymond. Because Sprung was a healthy scratch like a couple of games ago. I remember seeing that. So
I never understood his deployment. The guy gets like almost half, like 0.5 point per game, with 8 minutes, 9 minutes of time on ice.
That was him last year for Seattle. It didn't make any sense. But
to be fair, I saw him in the Côte de Liesse tournament last summer because he trains around there, and awesome skill set, but even I know this is not the NHL. I know that these guys, there was a bunch of NHL players, AHL players, or guys from Europe. But even him, he had the best offensive skill set. When he took his shot, it would ring off the post. You know, he could deke 2-3 guys. But he was also the guy making the most mistakes, bad passes, turnovers, not skating back. You know, and then you see a guy like he was playing with or against Mathieu Joseph, for example. Well, Mathieu Joseph was playing like it was the Stanley Cup final, Game 7, back checking, lifting stick, and this was a Sunday game for them, you know. But it kind of shows you what kind of players they are. His ceiling is super high, but his floor is super low.
Yeah, Daniel Sprong is a strange player in that way. Skinner or Hellbuck for tomorrow? Both. Skinner's playing Anaheim. Hellbuck's playing Ottawa. Fire them both up.
Skinner. If you have to choose.
If you have to choose Skinner, but I mean, you kind of want to play both of them. Although Winnipeg's on a losing streak, so yeah, give me Skinner.
Decord or Allen next week? Allen. I would go with Jake Allen. But then again, nah. That's a really good question, eh?
I would. Allen is a safer bet because he's guaranteed getting 2 starts. But if Decord plays tomorrow and does really, really well, he could also get 2 starts next week. It's hard to tell because they could just give Grubauer San Jose just because San Jose sucks.
And do you think do we think Seattle wants to tank at this point? You know,
seems that way. I don't know.
That's a tough question, and honestly, I don't think we can. Just like you said, we can't answer it right now. You'd have to look at the Court's result on Saturday.
If he plays really well, he probably gets 2 of the starts next week. Probably. If he plays average, I think they're going to continue to alternate. Grubauer will get 2 starts next week, and against the 2 bad teams. If you need to make a decision now, then take Allen. He's his matchups aren't the easiest, but at least he's going to get 2 starts guaranteed, whereas Decord may only get 1.
We have Buddy with the goalies. I can't find his chat anymore, but Shesterkin, Decord, Urson, or 6K. Start 2. Definitely Shesterkin in Arizona for me. You start your superstars in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then we have Decord against Dallas. That's not very pretty. No. We also have Urson against Chicago at home. This one is easy. Shesterkin and Urson.
Yeah.
You don't want to play 6K on the back end of a back-to-back.
He's not playing tonight, but still, he also played really bad last game, and I'm scared to play him tomorrow.
Yeah, and even so, Buffalo's playing Toronto, a rested Toronto team. Very easy question. Shesterkin and Urson.
Yeah, I 100% agree. All right, let's start wrapping this up here. Thanks. Hey, guys, thanks so much for all your help last 2 seasons, specifically help with the off night schedule, Echo Commission Dynasty League on Fantrax, and we have salary cap. Well, you're welcome, man. We'll be back next year, man. And honestly, I'm speaking for myself. I love doing this. Been doing this is my 4th year now, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. And obviously, this is the first year we do like live streams and stuff like that, and we actually get to interact with you guys. And I think that's something I'm actually really enjoying. So we'll try to get that going a little bit more next year, and just try to keep the
Absolutely.
community and you guys, as close as possible. And obviously, you guys seem to like it, so we're going to keep doing that.
Thank you for the nice comments. He followed up just for that guy. Thank you for the nice comments. He also followed it up with a question. I'll let you go ahead.
Ooh, salary cap league. Have you ever actually played in a salary cap league?
It was more. It was a website like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And like GM leagues like that with like salary, but
I've played in a salary cap league. I've never been enticed to play in a salary cap league. But let's see if we can answer your question. Fleury, declare for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, I think Fleury has lost starting position back to Gustafsson, and Declare has been great, man. And Tampa Bay plays 4 games next week. He's playing on the top line with Kucherov and Point. I don't mind doing that at all.
Yeah, definitely. Duclair has been. I haven't looked at his recent stats, but before since he joined Tampa Bay, he is the guy. Is he still on the first line?
I believe so. Last I checked, which was like
even if he is, with Braden Point and Kucherov, Fleury's probably retiring. He hasn't been doing too well. That is an easy yes for me. Even if we need to mention we are not salary cap pros, not yet.
It seems like the salary cap's pretty similar between the two guys. So yeah, I think Declare is probably your play, and he's definitely going to have a lot more upside than next week, especially since Fleury may only get 1 start. Cool. Got him on the lineup. Thanks. You're welcome. Thanks, fellas. And that is all of our questions for today.
Cool. I have a quick question before I let you go, just hockey wise.
All right.
Do you have any gut feeling about maybe not who wins the cup, but who makes it to the top 4?
It's funny because ever since people started asking me that like a couple weeks ago, I've been saying Winnipeg, and then the second I started saying that, they went on a 5-game losing streak.
You know what's hilarious?
So I'm going to say my least favorite team: Toronto, Boston, Vegas, and Tampa Bay. Those are those ones.
Nice, but you can ride Winnipeg. It's funny because a lot of people have been telling me Winnipeg at the coffee shop, left, right, whatever. Family, they're talking to me about Winnipeg and Vancouver. And I really want the cup to come back to Canada. Sorry to our American viewers, but it's been since 93. We're all sick and tired. I would be so happy if a Canadian team wins the cup, apart from Toronto, of course.
Give me Edmonton and Winnipeg in the Western Conference Finals. And give me.
I feel like Winnipeg is a fraud.
Give me Carolina and Florida.
Carolina, Florida, nice. I feel like Winnipeg is a bit of a fraud. I think that they're gonna get a 1st-round exit, no matter who they get in the playoffs.
They're gonna get Colorado. It's gonna be tough, but I think they're built for the playoffs. We'll see though.
You do?
Yeah, they're a big physical team, really great forward group, the best goalie in the league. I think at their potential, they can win the cup, but they don't have a lot of playoff experience, which is the only thing that's hurting them right now.
Yeah, I like so I don't like Winnipeg and Vancouver to go too far, especially Vancouver. I think Winnipeg can get to the 2nd round more than Vancouver. I just feel like Vancouver is going to get upset. Like, who are they getting? They're either getting the Nashville Predators, who didn't lose for 18 straight games, or the Los Angeles Kings, who beat everybody in the playoffs except Edmonton.
Maybe Vegas. But yeah, it's going to be tough. Yeah. Thanks for the invite to your cap league. I'll have to I'm in too many leagues already, so I can never say yes to when people invite me, because it's as it is. I said no to the what's it called, the the Creator League, which all the different YouTube channels are in. Max did it; he did great this year. So, but
Still fighting.
What are you in that semifinals now?
Yeah, semifinals.
Yeah,
Down by 20.
Keep it up, man. You'll get it. But yeah, I
Last
couldn't
I
even
checked,
join that.
it was 2-2 New Jersey and Buffalo. So Levi might get me some points in the
I
end.
needed Levi to be bad, but okay. That's okay. Would you ever cheer for the Sens if they were a contender? As a kid, I would have said hell no. I had too many people that were like obnoxious Sens fans in my like elementary school and high school. But now, yeah, I actually really like the way their team is built, and I actually thought they would maybe be a playoff team this year. It's upsetting to see how bad they are considering the decent team they've built. Yeah, I would cheer for the Sens for sure. Any Canadian team except for Toronto, I'll cheer for. That's pretty much a guarantee.
Last year, me and my best friend we went to Ottawa. We went to see two Montreal Canadiens game in like a month, and we got shut out both games. So we went to Ottawa.
Yeah.
And we saw the game against the Leafs. It was the last, if I'm not mistaken, it was the last home game of the season for Ottawa, but I might be mistaken. And it was against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it finished like 7-4 or 7-5, something crazy for Ottawa. And amazing game. We got some free food after, free pizza from staff. They were giving out pucks. They were giving out, just the ambiance is amazing. I respect the Ottawa Senators a lot. Plus, I don't know if have you ever been to a Sens game?
Nope.
Okay, so I went when it was I went to the new arena, and I went to the old one, which was in the middle of nowhere. I think it was in Canada, if I'm not mistaken, like an hour away from the city on the
I've been
side
to
of a
that
highway.
Yeah.
It was really weird. But the fun thing is every worker, I was surprised to see that there was a lot of them last year as well. Most workers, but every worker in the 2000s were all war veterans or old folks from the army.
That's cool.
And it's so different from these big jocks you see in Montreal that are looking at everybody always pissed off. These are like old guys who are super sweet. They'll shake your hand, they'll show you your seat, they'll help. So the vibe is completely different. They're even for a Ottawa against Toronto game, there wasn't that much tension. Just great experience. I recommend anybody to go check out the Ottawa Senators.
Maybe I will.
Great arena,
It's
great
definitely
staff.
cheaper than here in Montreal.
Oh yeah, way cheaper.
Awesome to see that, Jose. Like you're cheering for a Canadian team, even though you're American. That's awesome.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate.
Season has been embarrassing for the Sens. Yeah, Leafs against the Senators have always been fire. Yeah, usually pretty good games. Canada, I went there from Toronto to see Danley Heatley's return game. Big Sharks fan. Sharks won 6-0. That's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. And with that, I think we'll wrap it up.
We're good to go.
Thanks for hanging out tonight, Max. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all you guys tuning in to watch. Obviously, without you guys, we wouldn't be making videos. And okay, we got one more question. Let's answer that, and then we'll say good night. Pamelka, Blackwood, or UPL for tomorrow? Well, not Blackwood. Is Pamelka even playing tomorrow? Give me UPL. Out of those options, the Coyotes are playing New York Rangers. The Sharks are a dumpster fire.
Who are the Sharks playing tomorrow?
The Blues.
Yeah, they're all ugly matchup, but I don't trust Buffalo on the end of a back-to-back against Toronto. So give me my God.
I don't even know if Pamelka's going to play tomorrow, but I know I would go UPL. I think Ingram got Monday, right? I could be wrong, but no, Pamelka got Monday, so Pamelka will play tomorrow. But yeah, no, I trust I trust UPL a lot more than I trust Vimmelka against the Rangers.
Yeah, give me. I would go for Arizona goalie in Grimmer Vejmelka.
Okay.
There's no, but honestly, brother, if you have any other options, go ahead because none of these options are good.
Honestly, UPL's been phenomenal though. Other than like 2 of his last 3 games, he's been so good for like a couple months. So I'd bank on the guy who's been great, and just cross your fingers. Thanks for the advice all season, boys. Really appreciate it. Have a fantastic long weekend. Same to you, and same to everybody else watching, guys. Enjoy the Easter break. Enjoy the long weekend, and best of luck in your matchups, man. Guys, I hope you all win and make it to your fantasy finals, or if you're in your quarters, I hope you make it to your semis. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. And we'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tips.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Julian.
Take care, man.
Peace.
Peace.